All right, and welcome everyone to the podcast. This podcast is an alpha and may be subject to change. Joining me today, I have Tef, and everyone else was busy.
Yeah,
As
hello.
per usual. But yeah, we've got a lot to discuss today, and I feel like there's going to be
Oh.
two very big subjects. One of which is Mixer, and the other one is one of the games Tef may have been playing this week. Would you like to tell me what you have been playing this week, Tef? Shall we just get right into it?
Yeah, big hot topic. The Last of Us 2. I've not finished it yet. I'm
Bad
only
game.
like
Sorry.
18,
Just
19
being
hours
Twitter.
in. Shut up, you. And leave that. You'll have time for that. I'm only like 18 hours in. I think it's like meant to be like 25-ish hours long.
Yeah, it's actually it's really cool that it's that long because you don't get that many long
Yeah,
single player games. Not of that
definitely
type
long for a
anyway.
Naughty Dog game. Yeah,
Yeah.
wait. So, So, yeah, I mean, I've not finished it, so my opinion isn't finished yet. My opinion's an alpha, maybe subject to change. But I mean, so far it's pretty good. It's got some problems here and there, mostly with the story, as everyone's been saying, but it's not as bad as everyone has been saying it is either. I think the outrage is a little bit over the top. I think the internet's just enjoying shitting on something. Can you imagine that? The internet? No,
No.
surely not. They're all lovely people. But I
So
mean,
they need
I've really
something.
been
It's
enjoying it.
it's been a week since the last drama. Okay, they need something.
They do. Got to keep fanning those flames onto something else. Yeah, no, I've been really like enjoying it, honestly. Mostly just because I think Last of Us is really good as a game anyway. I really enjoyed the first one, although kind of a hot take. Didn't really enjoy the story of the first one. It was just a Walking Dead Telltale game, but
That is definitely a hot
it was
take.
just it was just beat for beat the Walking Dead game. So the story was not that good, and everyone overrates it. But I liked the first one anyway, even though I didn't like the story. I thought it was a good little survival game. It's got more mechanics. And kind of well better designed than Uncharted is. It's just fun to play, and I think on the harder difficulties, it's good as a sort of survival game. Because there's a lot of like item management that you've got to do, Resident Evil style, and you know how I feel about Resi. So
Yeah.
and it's just massively improved on that part of it. For the sequel, like there's no arguing that it's just more of the same. It's like very very similar, but some nice tweaks, if you get me.
Mm.
So it's really good, really good.
Shall I?
Stories not
Should we
that.
do a back and forth, and I'll say what Twitter says, and then you
Fine.
retort it.
You be
So
devil's advocate.
yeah, I'll play the devil's advocate for this one. So I feel like a lot of people are very unhappy with the plots, and a big thing actually, what they're unhappy with is how the game was advertised, because they thought a certain character would be in the game a lot more than they were, and they
I don't I don't understand that, honestly.
so actually there is one point in the game where they showed off a gameplay trailer, or it was some
Mhm.
gameplay from when you first start using the bow up until
Mm.
you bump into a certain character.
Mm.
And that character in the gameplay was actually the character who was not in the game as much.
Yeah, no, I know, but
Yeah.
what I don't get is because I was following the development of this and watching all the trailers. Um, in the very first announcement trailer, it was very obvious that that character wasn't going to be in it. It was very obvious what the story was going to be about. They made it really, really, really clear actually, and everybody caught on. And I think Naughty Dog panicked. So then they started making fake trailers and were trying to throw people off the scent.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
a
knew
bit
from
weird they
the
did that,
second,
to be honest.
I not really. It's been people have, a lot of developers have done it before. They didn't want the shock
I know, but
moments to be lost.
it was
But
a bit much being like, gotta, you know.
it just shocks me that people didn't see this coming because they made it very clear at
I
the
think
start that
they knew it was coming, but they expected it later down the line.
mm, I guess it's
They didn't
fairly
think it'd
early
be
on, although
like
not
the
as early as I thought
driving
it'd be.
plot points of the story.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The I think I know a lot of the criticisms come down to people thinking the story is very simple too, and that it's kind of just got one theme that they just hammer home. And don't really think that's fair. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. I don't even
I mean,
think
it's definitely got some other themes alongside it, but it is like the major plot point, I think, isn't it, for the most part?
I mean, it is, but that's overly simplifying it to say that it's just a sort of don't don't go after revenge story, because although that is the theme. The focus isn't on the theme anyway, and it's never been like that with The Last of Us. It's never been about the story because I'm going to say again, the story in the first one, the plot wise, the plot was stolen. It wasn't original. It was straight up stolen from another game. But what made it so good was the characters and the interaction between them.
Yeah, I think that
So
was what people liked from the first game, and which is why they're a little disappointed in the second one.
yeah, second one nails it in some places and really falls down in other places. From
It
what I've
definitely
seen so
gives
far.
those moments as well, from what I've seen as well.
What do you mean?
Those like interactions, you still get those moments at points in
Oh
the
yeah, you
game,
do.
but you know they're not like it's not throughout like they
I think
expected.
yeah, you get those moments more than you did in the first game. They're just not necessarily as good as they were in the first game. You just don't like the characters as much. I think a
Mm.
lot of them aren't anywhere near as memorable. Like there's more characters in the second game too. There's not all that many in the first, but all of them are memorable. Um, and that is where it falls down. Sometimes it can keep up with Last of Us One, but sometimes it is just a
Like
little bit uninspired.
without going into spoilers or anything, I think
Mm.
they have those moments in some flashbacks that they have throughout,
Mm.
which I also found the flashbacks from what I've seen so far. I've only seen like a couple. I also found them a bit like they were really gamified moments where it sort of went in and taught you like a new mechanic, or it would
Yeah.
introduce a new enemy or something along those lines. That was what they felt like to me.
Yeah, they did. They did. It did feel a little bit clunky the way they did that. Definitely,
Yeah,
like you could see that they were using it as an excuse to give you a tutorial, which was funny. One of them gives you a tutorial on how to use a scope, doesn't it? Even though by that
yeah.
point there's a good chance you've already
You've
made a
already got
scope and
one.
put it on your rifle. So
Though
yeah,
you don't have the
that
bow
was
at
weird.
that point, so I guess it teaches you drop as well, kind of. Which
Yeah, I guess.
there isn't, there's not too much use for the drop with the bow anyway. I feel like most of the time that's not an issue, but it
Yeah,
definitely
no,
teaches you the drop.
yeah. The flashbacks are kind of they're funny too, really, because there's one flashback in particular which basically takes you back to the first game. Like I think it's set very shortly after the first game, and I thought that was like the best in terms of character interaction. That was the best part of the whole game for me so far because it was
Was that
just
flashback a cutscene, Rita?
no, it's basically just Joel and Ellie being Joel and Ellie, and that felt like I was playing the first game again. And they got their interactions down perfectly, and
I
they
think I
got their
know.
characters down
Yeah,
so well. It's such a nice sequence, and it shows that they can still do that really well. Um, and I think if the game was just more of Joel and Ellie, straight after the first game, they probably would have been able to do it. But they don't seem to be able to create new characters and make them interesting, or even adapt to an older Ellie who's a very different person now, completely different really from how she
mm,
was in the first game.
yeah. I yeah. I think it is a case of do people care about can they make you even care about the new characters, especially after the way they open the story? Can they make you even care to a degree?
I think they can, and I know we discussed this just before
Yeah.
starting. And I won't go into it too much because I don't want to go into spoiler territory. But there is one moment where um, they really do make you feel for the other characters because it's just in this very short, succinct scene. You see how the other side is in the exact same position as your character, and how it's no different, and everyone's doing the same thing. And it's really neat, and it's very short, and it just hits you with it, and you're like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. No one's a bad person here. Everyone's just trying to survive, and that's really good. And then you go into a new chapter, which is entirely dedicated to hammering that point home, and they've already made that
Mm.
point, and it's really clumsy. They'd already made it, and they've made it so well, and then I think they were just worried that it was going to go over people's heads, and then they
I
just started
mean,
smacking you at that point.
Do you think it would even connect with a lot of people though? Do you think like the average person would care? I know, or they would just be like they just wanna, you know.
Well, I think with The Last of Us though, you've got to respect your audience and expect them to be able to keep up with that level of writing, because they managed it in the first game. The first game has a very good ending, but it doesn't shove it in your face. It leaves you to kind of make your own decisions on how you should feel about the ending. And you know that did that just fine. So for it to now be dumbing down the story seems a bit stupid. You should be respecting your own audience, and you've already got one from the first game. He's perfectly capable of making their own decisions on the story without you having to kind of guide them. Although I do get why that would be a concern, because gamers aren't always the best at understanding writing like that. Like they kind of want it to be more pulpy most of the time. But I think at this point, people already know that The Last of Us is going to make you think more. So it just seems like a strange decision to do it in The Last of Us. Really?
Yeah,
Had they done it in Uncharted, I wouldn't have thought it was so strange. But
it also, I guess that's where it comes to, did The Last of Us even need a sequel at that point?
No, I mean, they said they weren't going to make one. They said it didn't need one. They've expanded on an ending now, which was intentionally quite open ended, which is a bit sad, really. It's a shame that they've had to kind of stamp on that ending in order to make a sequel.
Having a rave
it's
over
the danger of anything, really. I know, my God, it's happening on the TV. Sorry.
No, don't worry about that. Sorry, just it distracted me for a moment. Oh, the police outside or something?
Me, actually. No, it's watching a show about vampires on the TV in the corner, and it's just going mad. It's all kicking off. But it's not JoJo. Spoilers for like the third episode of JoJo there. What's it talking about? Completely lost my track now.
Oh, sorry. I just pulled us right out of that.
Whatever.
But okay.
So hit me with more devil's advocate things. Go on.
Well, I mean, from what I saw and what I watched, I think personally that the overall plot, I think the gameplay sort of does take away from that, and I think it. I don't know. They don't make, because they're pushing this sort of plot revenge, but then you're going out and then you're just murdering a bunch of people. And like, there's people who beg for mercy, and then, you know, you've got typical gamer holding the controller being like, lol, executing them. I know that would be me.
I mean, I don't understand that criticism, honestly, though. Like, I think it's fine. Like, it's people. I think the problem is that a lot of people and a lot of journalists, especially Jason Schreier, think that it's trying to make you feel bad, and I'm not sure now whether that's actually what it's going for. I don't think it's trying to make you feel bad. I think it's just trying to show you that Ellie really doesn't give a shit. That the people.
Oh, she definitely doesn't. Like she swears after killing everyone. Like, yeah, take that, and you're like, yeah.
That's it. She's a horrible person because she's consumed by revenge, and I think people are assuming it's trying to make it's trying to make you feel bad, but I don't think so. I think it's just trying to make you think, oh wow, if I was in that situation, I'd probably stop and think, oh geez, whereas Ellie's just not. Ellie doesn't care, and
I don't know. I think it's trying to make you think you're playing. You it's making you feel like you are playing the bad guy in the scenario.
No, see, I think that's the problem. I think people are treating it like it's Spec Ops: The Line, and that what's happening in the game is reflecting on you as a player, and I really don't think that's what it's going for. I think it's trying to reflect on Ellie. I don't think you're meant to be in the equation.
She does have moments as well, though, where she's like, well, what am I doing? Like, after like certain story moments, she comes back being like, oh no, what am I doing? But but then it's like you've just killed. It's just like you've just murdered like hundreds of people. Why do you care now? You don't care.
Yeah, it makes that memeable Tomb Raider 2013 mistake, and I can't believe people are still making that mistake now. It's been memed on for the past 7 years.
That's what bothers me, because I think
I don't like that part either.
The part of like what games can do is through gameplay they can tell the story. That's the benefit of the medium. It can actually tell a story through the gameplay, and if they're trying to do other stuff alongside that, they can also take away from the overall story. I don't have to word this correctly, but I think you get what I mean.
It's called ludonarrative dissonance.
That's the word. Yeah, the phrase.
It's an absolute mouthful. But yeah,
People
that
used
was
to love
100%
using that incorrectly a lot, if I remember. Back in like
I think most people couldn't say it.
2014, I don't know. It was a big term back then, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's a big buzzword everyone likes to use. It does describe the situation no perfectly. Like I said, I will defend it to an extent, but I agree with you on that one scene where Ellie suddenly breaks down over one person dying when she's killed 400 people to get to that point. Could
Yeah.
have been handled better,
I think
really.
that's right after, well, the moment I told you I was up to when I spoke to you before the podcast, yeah. But I just find that stuff weird, honestly, and I don't know. I feel like that definitely detracts from it. But from what the writing and stuff that I've seen so far, it seems fine. There's people saying, you know, it's pushing certain agendas, and I didn't get off that impression. I felt like it was all pretty natural.
No.
Up to the point I'm at least.
I think there's a group of people, and I think they are a relatively small subset of people, to be fair, but still a fairly vocal one. People are just kicking off about the fact that Ellie's a lesbian. Although, honestly,
I don't
I
know.
got big
Wasn't that from
lesbian
the
vibes off
DLC
that girl in
anyway?
the first game.
They had that in the DLC,
Yeah, that's
didn't
it.
they?
Like,
People
in
know.
the DLC of the first game, it was fairly hinted at. Like, she was too young to really have a relationship at that point anyway. But the banter and interaction she had with that girl in the expansion for the first game did kind of hints towards it. Like, it doesn't shock me at all. I kind of expected her to be one. So
yeah,
whatever.
I think
anyway.
There's people who maybe don't like the newer characters, like the people that you partner with, and they just don't really care for that person, and maybe that's part of it. Like I've heard some people you say you could just replace that with any other character, and you know probably care more, or like replace it with like the horse, and you'd care more. Like some people have said they cared more about the horse than that character, which
I think that's a bit harsh. I think they've put some effort into characterizing her, but not as much as they could have done. Definitely, like none of the new characters really come across as really likable to me. Like I said, none of them are anywhere near as memorable as they were in the first game. So everyone was memorable in the first game in my mind.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people are probably coming from. Like maybe just don't like the new characters, and the fact that certain plot elements happened towards the start of the game meant that you were then stuck with newer characters throughout that they didn't really care for and had no sort of connection to. I think that's probably part of it. And then there's the general overall theme, which some people don't like. And then there's the ending, which, you know, you'll probably follow up. We'll do a follow-up next week.
Yeah, we'll have to see how my opinions change once I've finished. Because I'm now I think I've just I played about 2 hours of it before we started this podcast, and I think I have just gotten to the part where people say it starts to get a bit dodgy story wise. So we'll have to see how things go.
Yeah, I'm interested to know that part, but I think that's it's an interesting discussion. There's a lot to say about The Last of Us. There's still more we could talk about, honestly, because there's people that like the thing's getting meta bombed, which is, you know, really shouldn't be. There's people giving it zeros out of 10s, which is just ridiculous.
People just like to jump on the bandwagon, don't they?
Even if the story is bad, like graphically the game is amazing, especially for a console game. Like it's insane what they've done with that.
Powerhouse. I keep playing it on my standard PS4, which is like a launch model thing. And it's not even like making that much noise. Like usually whenever I play anything that's
the jet engine
slightly graphically intensive, it does. It gets so loud. It doesn't even sound like it's struggling. And I'm just staring at it constantly thinking, how have they gotten this running on the PlayStation? Like I honestly don't know how they've done it. It doesn't seem possible.
The amount of foliage in that game as well.
Because I sent you a picture of that, didn't I? There's so many overgrown sections where there is an insane amount of foliage, and I have no idea how they pulled that off. Like, props to them. It's incredible what they've done with that console.
Yeah. So, I mean, I mean, it's probably all those employees they overworked. which is another point that I think is why a lot of people are dumping on the game. I think that's a minority, to be honest. I don't think that's as many people.
I think it's a fairly
it's
Yeah, it's not tiny amounts. Like, don't
Yeah.
downplay it, but it's not
I'm
a
not.
huge amount either.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
I think the average
But
gamer doesn't care about that, but other than us,
it's no different than any other studio. It's
yeah.
just that for some reason this got heavily publicized before The Last of Us came out, so it's weighing
Well,
on
the way
people's
that there was
minds.
the leaks as well that also came out, and then people got outraged over those. And I think maybe everything just sort of compounded before the release, and then people that wouldn't have even known about them getting overworked and stuff probably heard about it because there was so much coming out on it.
That's funny. I don't. It shows how much times have changed since like 2012, 2013. But there's a documentary that Naughty Dog made during the development of Last of Us One. It's like a sort of behind the scenes on Last of Us One getting made, and there's these really awkward moments in that documentary where they talk about crunch, and they talk about the camaraderie and how it's all fun and they stay up all night working, but it's okay because they all buy pizzas and they all have a laugh, and you can see like all these strange smiles like. I didn't see my family for 8 weeks, but I had fun. I promise. And Neil Druckmann's in the shadows at the back with a whip.
Yeah,
that's
the exact image that I had.
It's on.
He's just so off camera with a gun, just holding them down.
Like, even back then when I watched it, like in like 2014ish, I remember watching that part and thinking, no one enjoys overtime this much.
No,
it's just not true.
Yeah,
like it seems especially sinister now. And we haven't slept in 4 days. It's just it seems so sinister now. But
workplaces love doing that, don't they? It's like, look, we ordered pizzas. Aren't you gonna have fun and enjoy working? No.
Oh, honestly, my last job, I had to work Boxing Day. And it was horrible, and they were like, it's okay guys, we've ordered your pizzas, and like it doesn't even feel like a nice gesture because I know they get like 60% off on Domino's because they're a big company.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, thanks, it's cheap pizza, and I'm just eating it.
It's a write-off for them.
Not even happy. That's it. Buttons. It was a bank too, so like what's money to a bank, Another rave.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's that, and then there were other people that had other criticisms that were along the lines of Sony censoring. They were censoring like nudity and like 2D animations and like anime girls and stuff, but they weren't censoring stuff that was like mocapped and realistic. There's a meme going around where it's like Sony being like, yes, this is fine art, and then there's another one going around, and then of it being like the 2D anime girls, and then be like, oh god, no, why? And then not censoring her. I don't think that's. I
haven't seen anything about that.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think that's a minority, honestly. But that's another thing that's been going around. I don't really care about that. That's dumb.
Yeah, that's not even got anything to do with The Last of Us. That's just this weird thing that America has where violence is a-okay, but you can't have the slightest bit of sex. No. And I think that's only really America that cares about that. It's such an American-only problem. I feel like over here we're not anywhere near as bothered about like sex and nudity.
But yeah, there's scenes. I don't know if you've. I think there might be later on in the game or something, but there's nudity involved in certain points, and people are upset that their anime girls are being censored. But Last of Us isn't. I think that's all it is, and I could not care less.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. So, I think that's enough to do. I've got more to talk about next week. So, what have you been playing, so?
Arcade? I'm not going to lie.
No, surely not.
All I've played is Arcade. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've played. I mean, we played Jack, actually. We can both talk about that.
Jack next.
That's another Naughty Dog game.
Oh, it is from the good days before the crunch. No, that game probably got crunched too.
Yeah, it's funny. On our last live stream, we were actually talking about how Naughty Dog have never made a bad game, and now there's a bunch of people like dumping on the latest one, which I don't think it's a bad game, but it was just a funny thing to think on.
Yeah, it's not a bad game. It's just got a bad story, but the gameplay's still spot on. I don't think Naughty Dog could ever screw up the gameplay. Honestly, no, that's not true. That's not true because the gameplay in Uncharted 1's a bit boring. I'll
be honest. One thing I did, especially with the Uncharted series, the gunplay in that game I dislike a lot. From what I played,
I think it's aged really badly. It was fine at the time when it's tough to go back to now.
Yeah, I think I jumped on Uncharted like later on because I just didn't play consoles that much, and it just, I don't know, didn't appeal to me that much. I like the story of Uncharted though. Uncharted's it's a fun adventure.
Yeah, fully agree. I was the same because I got the like remastered collection for PS4 because I never had a PS3, and it's good fun. It is just an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gameplay's not aged well at all. Especially like I know you've not played The Last of Us, but once you've played The Last of Us, it's really hard to go back to Uncharted 1, 2, and 3
Yeah.
because it's just refined those games. Like now, it feels weirdly like old fashioned now to press a button to go behind cover when in The Last of Us you can just crouch and move behind a cover and they automatically press themselves against it. So
games did try and do that in the past, but it was also always very clunky and they'd like get stuck on terrain and stuff. That was a big problem in the past, which I think, you know, most games have sort of gotten around that now. It's not an issue for them.
Yeah,
so they can't
I'm so glad we don't magnetize.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying it's like something where they can naturally do it now without having to press a button and go over to cover.
That's it. Because it's when you magnetize, I hate that because then it's really hard to like get yourself unstuck from the wall. And I've hated that ever since Gears of War invented it. And I'm so glad we're finally away from that now.
I think Deus Ex did it pretty well. The the latest Deus Ex games that had it, and it was pretty well done. And you got to like corners, you'd hold the button to go around the corner, and that, or like just tap it to like move between the different pieces of cover. That was a stealth game. That was like
I can see it.
That's why it needed that.
Yeah, stealth games still do it actually. That's a point. Like it kind of it's needed for stealth games. You need to know for certain whether you're behind cover or not in a stealth game. I think that's more important than it is in a shooter.
The Last of Us, I mean, you could consider it. It's a very stealth-heavy game.
Yeah, true.
So you can easily mess up, and then it turns into just an all-out shootout.
Yeah, it's a kind of a bit of both, isn't it? But it's really hard to survive a full-on shootout on like normal or hard. It's pretty difficult to actually survive one unless there's only a few people left. So definitely is stealth first and foremost.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
But that isn't Jack and Dexter, is it?
No, it's not. It's not Jack and Dexter.
That's what we talk
again somehow.
I don't know how we
Jack
got
and Dexter.
No.
Not even any guns in Jack and Dexter, not yet. Anyway,
not yet.
First one.
Just wait until we go back in time or forward in time. I think it's back in time. I'm pretty sure.
Back, yeah.
Yeah.
It gets very.
It's very strange, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't really know what to say about it. But besides what we said in the stream, but it's just considering it's almost in a way like one of the last big hurrahs of like the collectathon platformer style of game before everyone starts jumping ship on that.
And I mean, it still plays pretty well. Like it feels good to play.
It plays very well. Yeah, got great game feel. But I mean, Naughty Dog have always had that down from day one, really, with Crash.
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of fun with it, at least. Other than that, I've not really played anything else, though. I'm trying to think. Unless something pops into my head.
Me too. I mean, I've been playing more Persona 4, but I spoke about that a lot last week, so not really got anything else to add.
I don't know. So, yeah. I don't think I have played anything else, because I didn't get around to doing indie games, because I was kind of sick yesterday, which...
Oh, yeah.
I'm feeling better today. I don't know if you can tell that my throat's a little weird.
You sound fine, babe. Don't you worry.
All right, I'm good. But yeah, other than that, nothing else. What did I do Friday? Friday and Saturday, I played Arcade, didn't I? I did Arcade stream Friday and Saturday, so that's why. That's why I've not really played anything else.
So I've not actually been watching the Arcade streams this week. So what have you been up to in Arcade?
Let's see, what did I do? I finally built my farm cart, which you're supposed to do at like level 40 or something, and now I'm doing this at like way past end. Like this is end game now. I'm like in the expansion, and I'm building the farm cart for the first time, and I got myself some free credits because it's got some sort of system for how you like it's the equivalent of gems, and you can earn them in game kind of by getting these very specific achievements. So I got one of them. I got one of those achievements by building the farm cart and like crafting up with it. And then with that, I got like one of the have an arch pass system in there, and I used that to get like a premium currency. Got myself a new costume and stuff. So that was fun. Then I did some guild reforms and stuff. But yeah, I honestly want to do some really cool events in Arcade because I feel like that's what the game needs. I feel like if I can somehow get people from YouTube over to like Twitch or even in the Discord and announce events, like if they're on the same server as me or something, we can do stuff like make the ugliest character possible and then we just go through them on stream and like pick a winner or like, you know,
really cool.
Yeah, or like best house because the houses are a big part of Arcade. We could go through it, look at people's houses and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that sounds so good. I mean, that's good, and that's like what MMOs are missing a lot these days, isn't it? It's that kind of community generated content. It just sounds like good fun, just a good laugh, good hangout.
I also want to do like a race, like across the whole continent, because there's cars in game. So I was just like, I want to see how many people I could get together to all just race and see what happens. I feel like
anyone ever done that before? Surely that's got to have been done before.
I don't think they have, honestly. There's not many Arcade creators. There's like I've seen the Discord and it's full of people who all have the purple Arcade creator things, but it's like they don't really produce any interesting content. Like there's some people who throw out guides for very specific. Oh no, yeah.
You do you?
No, but there's people that make very specific short guides, and like there's some people who do some good stuff, but a lot of it is like, here's like the castle siege that we did this week on the server, and it's just gameplay with music. It's like,
wow, exciting. Or you could play the game.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't interest me that much. I think there's a lot of people just put like dumb content out. That's just sort of gameplay and like music. It's like old school YouTube gaming stuff. Weirdly.
Yeah, like Leroy Jenkins level stuff, just coverage of raids. Never really understood that, even when it was kind of popular. I always just thought, why not just do them yourself? Or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It was I mean, I kind of get you. Like, for what I do, it's like I'll go through and like I'll give like an impression of a new instance or something and like show you, or I'll show you how it's done in the different mechanics. I'll usually do an impression when an instance comes out just to show it off, and then like I'll do another run. Like I do solo runs to show off the mechanics of each of the dungeons and how you can do them on your own. That's kind of what I do.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it's a walkthrough or I can't say the word, a critique, then obviously that's fine, and that's good. It's just when people do like a let's play but an MMO, it's a bit like
yeah,
it's not really, doesn't really work. Not with MMOs.
I don't know. I feel like there's a market for it. Some people want to. Some people, it's their favorite MMO, and some people just want to like, you know, watch someone play through it and watch their experience, I guess. But I don't think MMOs, Let's Plays do very well on YouTube anymore. That's kind of been a dying genre. Like, if you want to do a Let's Play, you do it on a live stream now. You do it on Twitch or YouTube Live, I guess. YouTube Gaming, Facebook Gaming.
Oh God! Hey,
you could do it on Mixer. I mean, should we go straight into the news then? If we're doing the...
We've exhausted our Arcade, I think.
Yeah, we probably have. So, Mixer's shutting down, everyone. Hey!
Oh no! I didn't know what it was until 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, so that's the funny thing, is Tef didn't even know what Mixer is. And Mixer is, to anyone who's on Twitch, Mixer's like most people know what Mixer is if you're on Twitch. The only reason I knew about Mixer prior to streaming on Twitch was because I think they talked about it on the Co-optional podcast once or twice. They brought it up, and I was like, what's Mixer? And I was like, oh, so it's Microsoft's attempt at a streaming platform. And I think it was last year they picked up Ninja and Shroud, they were like in the top 10 of Twitch streamers, and they picked them up for like a deal of millions. And they were.
It was only in October. Wow, that was not long ago at all.
Yeah, which is crazy that they're now shutting down after throwing out millions at these guys to bring them over.
So they're not quite shutting down, though, are they? That's the catch.
Well, yeah. But I mean, that does mean Ninja and Shroud are probably free agents again, unless they're renegotiating. They're going to be in renegotiations probably, but that means they could come back to Twitch if they really wanted to at this point.
I guess, but well, I don't know. I guess it depends on how the contract's worded, because the platform isn't actually dead, is it? It's just merged and rebranded. So unless they're going to be forced to continue on this new Facebook amalgamation.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I don't. So is Facebook Gaming. Another prominent streamer went over to Facebook Gaming by the name of Disguised Host, and he went over there back. It was around the same time that Shroud and Ninja were moving over as well. So they'll be granted like partnership with Facebook Gaming. The question is, do they have to stay? Are they contracted? Are they obligated to? Which, at this point, you'd think their contract is kind of void at this point. Voided. Yeah, so they'd have to renegotiate. I think if they actually are going to pay them still, then they'll probably just stay with Facebook. They'll go to Facebook, because Facebook is actually. It may surprise you, but they have a fair amount of live stream market share. They have a large portion of the stream market share. Twitch has the most, and then I think YouTube and then Facebook, and I think that's the order. And then Mixer had 2% of the market share or something like that.
Tiny.
And that was after they picked up like Ninja and Shroud. They were expecting to pull in a lot more people with those acquisitions, I imagine. Which is why they were throwing a lot of money around. But it didn't really pay out. Which, I mean, that's... Go on, I'll let you take over.
So I was just wondering, I mean, I don't know, maybe you'll know about this, but if these big... I've never heard of these guys, but I don't really follow this kind of scene.
Yeah.
I take it these guys were pretty huge. So, you know, if their fans didn't follow them to Mixer, it's making me wonder whether it's actually damaged their reputation or their fan base. Because
you see, I don't think it will have, honestly. I think if they were to come back to Twitch, they'd immediately get all their viewers back, and maybe even more, because it'll be an event.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they would, they will do. I just think it's so strange how it kind of reflects on how bad the Mixer must have been as a platform, that these huge streamers moved somewhere else, and evidently the majority of their fans just thought, oh well, I won't watch them then. Like it must be too much trouble to move to Mixer.
So I think
it's just not worth it.
I think the issue is a lot of people don't care to even sign up to Mixer or get involved. Like they did a lot. They like offered like a free sub to the channels for like the first month, and they did a lot to like try and pull people in. No one cares though, because I think a lot of people that are on Twitch follow other people on Twitch, so they don't just follow, you know, their favorite creator. I mean, the people who are like dedicated fans, they probably went over, because I know Ninja was still getting like 10k viewers per stream over there. But that's not on, because he used to every now and then get 100k over on Twitch. Now that's probably an inflated number as well, because the issue with Twitch is if you're at the top of Twitch, the people that come into that category are going to watch you because you're at the top of Twitch. Then they're not necessarily going to be fans. So I think there's a large portion of that. But I don't know what point I was making. I've just went brain dead. But yeah, I just don't think... I think they're fine, honestly, fan base wise. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I didn't mean in the long term. I just thought it's funny how it must have made their numbers tank for a little while. But I guess it wasn't. It's not even been that long though.
No.
It's only October. They'll come back to Twitch, and it'll be. I'm sure it will just be business as usual. And it'll be seen as like a funny little blip on their career. Like, do you remember that time when they went over to Mixer for like 8 months and came back?
It's either that or they go over to Facebook Gaming, which, I mean, one prominent Twitch streamer is still over there. And actually is doing pretty well. I think the issue that Mixer had was, unlike, I mean, the only reason Twitch is successful is because it was one of the first platforms, and it's been around for so long. And I think it's just built up an audience over time. Mixer just came on in and tried to compete with that. So people couldn't be bothered, moving on over. They've got everyone they watch over on Twitch anyway. And unlike somewhere like YouTube or Facebook, they don't already have an existing demographic to push towards the streaming side of things, which is something Facebook has. They can push their streams, which is why Facebook has a big market share, and YouTube does as well.
Yeah, so definitely.
YouTube doesn't push the streams that much, though, which I honestly think they flick one switch. All you need to do is, say you're searching Arcade Unchained. You look at the list of videos, you see all my videos there, and then you just see the live streams of people that are actually streaming it on the right. I think that's all YouTube has to do, and I think live streams will be massive. They'll own a big portion of the revenue there, which they may be doing because they've they recently, I believe it was fairly recently, people saw it as like they were making up with PewDiePie, and like they've like gave him a big contract, so he's now like streaming on YouTube. Because before that, he'd bounced around to a few places. Like there was that D Live that he was streaming for at one point, which some people jumped over to. I think Ziff even jumped on D Live and streamed on it for a little bit, but that platform died pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure it's not around anymore, or if it is, it has
pretty much dead.
Little to no market share. Yeah, Ziff could have talked more about that, but he isn't here today.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, he does stream now.
Yeah. So I think they're going to start pushing it a lot more. I think this has been something that's been coming for a while, and I think as soon as YouTube makes that, like, pulls that switch, a big portion of the market share is going to go over there. And I think over time, unless Twitch does something big, Twitch is going to lose market share. I can see that being the case.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It comes down to whether YouTube is going to go ahead and do that, because Google don't always make the most logical decisions, and sometimes they do miss open goals like this. So who knows?
Yeah, it's a bit weird that I can see like a clear, easy way to grab the market share, and they haven't jumped on it yet. But I think it looks like they're moving towards it, because they also bought they got a contract with, I think his name's Courage JD or something. I think Zol could have spoke about him. I'm sure he's a big Call of Duty guy, I think. He's in esports, I think. I don't know. Is he 100 Thieves? I think he might be the owner of 100 Thieves, actually. Hold on. 100 Thieves owner. Look this up. Co-owned by Grammy-winning Drake? Wait, what? No, Nadeshot. Nadeshot owns. Okay, I think he might be part of it. I don't know. Courage Day anyway. He's been paid to like stream on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. So they're taking steps towards it. The question is, are they going to start pushing it on their platform actively? Because the problem Twitch has is they don't have any, like, they have the live streams, but they don't have any form of curated content. So you could just go to a live stream, and you don't know how to find a good streamer. And there's VODs. No one wants to watch VODs though. There's clips, but they don't really show anything off. There's no like.
I never thought about that. But you're right. There's just no way to really grab anyone. And
that's why, as a small streamer, getting new viewers is like, it's a pretty impossible task for the most part, which is why you should make content on YouTube or somewhere else, because I think that's what they call evergreen content, because it's always there. It's always available to watch, and you can just search and you can find it. And you don't have that on any live streaming platforms, really, except Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of YouTube, really, isn't it? Is once you live stream on YouTube, it then just becomes a YouTube video afterwards. And there's no kind of distinction between live stream and VOD. It's just you're making a YouTube video and it's going out to the world as it's being made. And then once it's done, it's just a YouTube video. And that's such a huge, you're right, that's a massive advantage that they've got.
I think one thing with YouTube video, like them becoming YouTube videos, I think the only downside to that is they might not perform as well as a standard YouTube video, so that could hurt them in the long run, in the like algorithm wise. But that's like a content creator specific thing. So I think that it's like maybe still best to edit those down and then re-upload them as like a, I don't know, cut down version or a highlight sort of thing. But no, it's definitely a really good point.
So, I think we've rambled on about that for long enough.
I could talk about Mixer all day, honestly.
Well, I could talk about Last of Us all day, but
it's true.
On.
They were like the two big things that we thought we were going to talk a bunch about today. We're actually at the 50-minute mark now, so close to an hour in. We do have a few more stories to talk about. So
yeah, a few smaller ones, and then we could ramble for a bit afterwards.
Yeah.
Do you have a topic for this week, Mr. Zan?
Yeah, give me 10 minutes during the break.
Got a few things that I could probably talk about.
I had something, but it wasn't like enough for like a full topic. It was one of those things where it's probably best, being something else. But yeah,
let's get into another one.
Crash 4 been confirmed. It's about time.
Yeah, boy. Very cool.
It is very cool.
I'm not going to lie, though, the most exciting thing about this for me is that this means we're probably going to get a Spyro 4 as well, and that excites me far more personally. But it's everyone's got their preference on that, and a lot of people really like Crash. I grew up with Crash and really enjoyed it at the time. Not really too bothered about it now, but it's really cool that that's happening. I mean, we've already had a Crash 4, like.
But this is like an actual. This is an actual sequel. This is the one we all wanted.
Hopefully, because the last Crash 4 was it Wrath of Cortex? Is that what it was called? I'm
trying to remember.
Wrath of Cortex on the PS2.
Yeah, I remember playing Wrath of Cortex. It was I don't remember. I don't remember it being that bad. I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
It was just okay. But I think it's a funny thing. It's all about timing with games like this, isn't it? Because Wrath of Cortex was basically just Crash 3 again, but on the PS2, and people didn't want that because it felt lazy. Like we'd already had 3 Crash games, and they just whipped. They gave the IP to Traveller's Tales, and they just threw out another Crash game. That was exactly the same. And now we're in a position where they're just making another Crash game, and it's exactly the same as the classic ones. But now people are clamoring for it because it's been 20 years since we've had a classic Crash game. So
yeah,
it's all about timing.
I mean, from what we've seen, graphically, this game looks really good. It actually reminds me of like how good Ratchet and Clank looked in that one trailer we saw. Like, get all the visuals. Yeah. It looks really nice.
I think it's the same engine that the remake and the Spyro remake ran on. But it's Toys for Bob, who are the guys who they actually didn't make the Reignited trilogy, but they didn't make the Insane trilogy, but they did make the Spyro Reignited trilogy. And I think their animation is what really makes them stand out. It's like the graphics are pretty good, but they are very good at animation. And that stands out in the trailer, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't mind another Crash game anyway. I feel like we haven't had... I think it's nice to see more games of that genre coming back.
Yes, definitely.
We've not had these in a while. Like, we've had some like, we've seen like some sort of some platformers have been slowly coming out. Like, we've had Ukulele and like some games, but they've not been great. And now we're getting some like Crash. We've had the what was it called? The remake. I forgot what it was called.
The Insane Trilogy.
Insane Trilogy. I was going to say the NSYNC Trilogy, and I was like, that's not it. That's definitely not it.
That'll be a better game now. Oh, there's an NSYNC game on the Game Boy, I'm sure.
No way.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Are you serious? Hold on. Pause the podcast.
I've seen...
Oh.
No, I'm gonna find this.
NSYNC.
There's a guy...
Game Boy game.
Sure, it's on a Game Boy. Your Game Boy Color, it's on. It's called NSYNC. Get to the show.
Get to the show. I've just seen it. Amazing.
I'm going to whack an article about that in chat for people who are here. Go read that.
I thought you were about to say I'm about to write a whole article on this. I thought you were going to... This one going up on
maybe I will.
on Super Jump.
Oh yes, they'd love it. I'm sure they'd appreciate it. Probably would, to be fair.
Oh, that's funny. There were some weird Game Boy games.
The absolute trash that came out on like Nintendo consoles back then.
Yeah.
Or any console actually, because it was just so cheap to make games back then.
Yeah, the amount of
trash we got, man.
Like, I don't know, like if you had those like 101 cartridges as well, and you just play, there'd be a bunch of like knockoff games on them as well.
Oh god, yeah. They were all like NES games or Atari games.
Yeah. And like there was a Pokemon game that was like Sonic as well.
Oh, is that I think Jontron did an episode about that. Yeah,
he did.
Like Sonic,
I also had that.
Pikachu.
I didn't realize until I'd seen that video. I forgot that one existed. That, and I also had I think it was called Pokemon Diamond or something, but it was them with the mobile phones. That was also in that episode. I also had that on that one cartridge.
Oh, that like Pikachu Sonic game is just the sin. It's disgusting.
I think I played a little bit of that. I don't think I ever got past the first level in it.
No, bad game.
Listen, when you're young and you've got 100 games in a cartridge, you're like, well, there we go.
Move on quickly. We know we're playing next on a story night.
Oh, I'm down. That or the Harry Potter Game Boy game. The Harry Potter Game Boy game was actually good.
Man.
That was a fun time.
I loved the Harry Potter Game Boy game growing up. The one on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
They were really good. They were actually genuinely quite good. And I've played them again, like a couple of years ago. I played it again, and it does still hold up for the most part. Like the gameplay does, at least. Like nothing else about it holds up. Gameplay wise, it's quite good.
Yeah, I don't remember too much about it. I can't remember I've just got very vague memories about going around. You go to like the shops at the start, and then when you get to Hogwarts, I don't remember much about being in Hogwarts. I remember the chess battle and stuff towards the end, but I don't remember a ton about the game. Weirdly, Chamber of Secrets I remember a bit more about, because that was also a really good game. I remember
it was a very good game.
Yeah.
God, the Harry Potter games were actually really good. Like all the tie-in Harry Potter games. At least in the early days, they were really good.
And then the third film, I think it was like after the third film, like when they got to the third film, the game just went a bit downhill. I don't really remember.
I quite liked the one for the third game.
I don't remember that one very well.
It was just okay. It was kind of that the third game changed the gameplay up a bit and kind of went in a more Zelda-y style. But I still liked it. But then from the fourth game onwards,
was it a bit more like Shrine? And they had like you switch between characters and you had different abilities.
Right, yeah, because each character had different abilities. Yeah, I mean, to play again now, it's really like simplistic and not challenging at all. You know, because it's obviously made for kids, but at the time, it was good fun. I enjoyed it at the time.
Oh,
and then
the Goblet of Fire game came out.
Oh man, let's just play all of them. I mean, those games, let's be real, those games were only good because you could explore Hogwarts, and that was really cool. And then in the Prisoner of Azkaban game, you could fly the hippogriff around Hogwarts, which was just the coolest thing ever. And then in the Goblet of Fire game, it was linear, and you couldn't explore Hogwarts. And I was like, what is this trash?
I think Chamber of Secrets, it was like you know, sneaking around and spells and stuff. It had like stealth elements to it with the prefects and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and you'd lose house points if you got caught.
yeah, and then there was in like the first game on the PS1, there was a part where you had to sneak past Filch and his cat, and he'd be like, "I can smell first years." It was terrifying as a kid.
I don't care about Harry Potter that much at all, but those games were fun. The first couple.
Yeah, they were good fun back when Harry Potter was relevant.
Yeah. So it says currently discussing Crash 4 right now. How do we go off on these tangents? How did this happen?
I don't really have much to say about Crash 4 though. It looks exactly like Crash 3. That'll be great. Crash 3 is a fantastic
it'll be fun.
Game.
I think that's all we can say. It'll be a good time.
As long as they nail the game feel, then it'll be good fun. It'll be great. It doesn't look original in any way. Like they keep going on about new levels, but all the level themes look really similar to the level themes from Crash 3. Like there's like a sci-fi one, and there's a lava-y one.
There's a snowy one.
Snowy one, yeah. It's
gotta have the ice.
Crash 3 again. I mean, I'm happy with that. Give me more Crash 3. Crash 3 was great, you know.
We just want
Give me
more of that
those
genre.
awful bike levels.
Just
yeah.
go back to the good old days. Give me a Jak 4 next. Come on.
Oh man.
Come on.
Yes.
That's what I'm waiting for.
I am just genuinely glad that someone's carrying the torch.
Yeah.
Like, because it's weird that genre's died out, because it's honestly one of my favorite genres. And it seems like it should be a winner, because you'd think kids are always going to enjoy games like that.
I mean, they got Mario for all that, haven't they?
Yeah, true. That's true.
Give the kid a Mario.
Just one game.
How about Mario and a Yoshi? You go off fun, kid. Go play.
Go enjoy your Marios.
Marios. Alright.
Marios.
We're about at the hour mark if we want to take a quick 10-minute break before we jump back in with the rest of the news. So
sounds good to me.
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, and we'll get into the rest of that sweet, juicy news, which the rest isn't that juicy, but, you know, we'll be back. And we're back. We're back on. So, you okay there, Tef? You frozen, Tef? Oh, no! Excuse me, we're just gonna go back to a break for a second. We'll just be real quick while we get Tef. Oh, no, he's back! Oh my god, the second I go back on, you're like, let's do this, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, Tef? You looked, I was like, I thought you were joking. I was like, oh, he's looking a little bored. I was like, Tef, you okay? How you doing? And I was like, oh, he's frozen.
So the irony is I was like actually proper like throwing shapes too like that. So I thought that's what you were referring to, and then you were like, why aren't you moving? And I was like, I could not be moving it anymore.
I was like,
you were like Numa Numa.
You just looked very... Oh, that's one for the highlight reel.
Oh no, how did I do that? I punched a wall and it like, my fist rebounded and hit me in the head. No.
How do you do that? Well, that's it. That's the start. That's a good start. Back from the break.
Fuck me. That was weird.
Alright.
Check I've not punched a wall like a Kyle. Okay, no, we're good. No holes.
I do have a dent in my wall from one time when I punched
big Kyle. Don't be silly. You can't express anger. You don't have emotions.
I like to pretend to express anger, you know? It's a really fun emotion to, like... That and being in severe pain. Someone else do that? Where you, like... Feel like you should pretend to be very injured and, you know, lean against the wall as you walk? No? Don't do that?
Isn't that just called being emo? Just like, woe's me.
Listen, all I'm saying, if, you know, you want to put me in a movie as a very severely injured person, being very angry, I could do that. How could it be? You know, you just gotta do the thing where you sort of look down and then your eyes, you tilt your head down and look up, you know, and just give a very unhappy glare. You know?
That's horrifying, actually. You should probably be in a horror film.
Hold on, I could do worse. We could do like a smile with that. And what are we doing?
I just feel like I'm gonna be touched up.
Okay.
I can tell you what we're not doing. We're
not talking about the game news.
Rocksteady's new game.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was that was a good mess that up really, but that's fine. Rocksteady are making a new game, so we're gonna get a Suicide Squad game from them, which is.
It's I guess it's a way of making another Arkham game. So, but it probably won't be as good. Does it mean we have to play as Jared Leto's Joker? Oh no!
Imagine having to play as Jared Leto.
Ooh.
You gotta go to the post office and place bullets in letters and send them to your fellow cast members. That's part of the game.
You just got a method back badly. From Shade.
So I didn't even really watch the Suicide Squad film. I'd heard about the stories around it. Like, apparently he even sent like a dead rat to one of the cast members. It's like getting in the role.
Yeah, he was trying way too hard, wasn't he? Bless him.
Yeah.
I think it's probably... we really don't know much about the game, do we? But I'm going to assume that we're going to be playing as Harley Quinn, most likely.
Probably.
Not Jared Leto's Joker.
And Will Smith. We'll play Will Smith as well. That'll be fun.
Oh, great! We can play a YouTuber in a game. It could be a first.
Oh yeah. Will Smith, my favorite YouTuber.
My favorite YouTuber.
Hey, Jack Black actually did a pretty good job of making YouTube videos.
Oh yeah, he's technically a YouTuber now. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he actually has a pretty good channel in comparisons.
I forgot that he's like actually making gameplay like videos now, because I subscribed to him when he first started, and I got like bored of waiting for him to get his Elgato, because he just kept making videos going, still waiting for the Elgato, guys. And it was like 4 months down the line, and he was like, I swear it's coming, it's definitely coming, guys. And like I gave up in the end. So I've not actually seen what any of his gaming stuff looks like. But
I've not really seen a lot of it, but I mean, even his stuff that wasn't gaming, it was like, it's better than the average YouTuber. To be honest.
I mean, it's Jack Black. He's a good lad.
Yeah, he's a nice, wholesome guy. Who doesn't love Jack Black?
We are awful at staying on topic this week.
We are.
I mean, that's fine, because there's nothing to talk about. But it's cool that it's happening, but we don't know anything about it at all. In fact, it's not even been announced yet. We only know because someone noticed that they started picking up all the domain names for it.
Yeah, they got the domains. I mean, you get to play as Harley Quinn and Will Smith. What more could you want? Will Smith was Deadshot, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. But he's just Will Smith. Because he's Will Smith in every film. But yeah, I don't remember who else was in that film.
I was just thinking that. I was racking my brains, but I didn't watch it either. So
no,
I don't know.
I
don't particularly care.
I hope Jared Leto wasn't in it. His joke is probably going to be in at some point.
No, but I doubt it, because they're trying to like write his joke out of existence, aren't they? Like,
True.
there was that Birds of Prey film, wasn't there, where they made a point of not having Jared Leto's Joker in it, and Jared Leto got really angry about it. Actually,
I've not seen anything on Birds of Prey. I know Bailey actually went and watched it. She got like tickets for us in like a giveaway. I recall.
I mean, I've not seen it, but superheroes aren't really my cup of tea anyway. For the most part, there's only a few that I care about. But I just heard about the controversy because I thought that was funny. Honestly, and eating that shits on Jared Leto, it was good banter in my eyes.
I used to watch a lot of. I think it was Mega 64, and they used to do a segment on their podcast where it'd just be, what did Jared Leto do now as the Joker? And they'd always used to just joke about him. It was good. It's good times. But I mean, it's probably gonna be. I mean, Rocksteady they've done good stuff with the Arkham games. They're probably gonna do something good with this, but I mean, they'll probably make the characters more interesting.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, because it's gonna be their own universe, isn't it? Just like the Arkham games, and yeah, they'll make it work, and it will be fun. Because Rocksteady very rarely screw up anyway. So I do think it should be fun, and we're joking. We're saying it's Jared Leto's Joker, but it's not really going to be, is it? Because it's not like the Arkham games ever paid any attention to the films, like the whole.
We lost you for a second. That's F.
Oh, hello.
No, you're back. You good?
Hello.
Oh,
I was just saying that they tend to stick to like the canon of the comic books, which I think is, in this case, it's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be interested to see what they do. I do like their spins on comic book characters, actually.
Realize the music's still going. Okay, that's fine. They couldn't hear it.
It's jazzy. Oh.
I've got it set up so they can't hear it. It's only in the break screen that it comes up. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Other than that, we also have Nintendo are moving away from mobile games, which is...
Thank Christ for that.
Praise the sun. That looked like we were doing that.
Praise the Lord. What old Wickerman. Oh.
But yeah.
Not the Nick Cage version.
I was about to say the Nick Cage version. That was the first thing that popped into my head.
That film's been ruined by Nick Cage, fuck's sake.
Nick Cage, what a man. We're going to talk about Nick Cage now. Is that how we're going to go off on a tangent for this one?
Yeah, just currently discussing Nick Cage.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really happy to see them moving away from mobile games because they brought out, like, there was the mobile Mario Kart that they brought out, which was a bit of a mess. I don't know,
That was
just
dreadful.
But yeah, apparently they performed really poorly. I guess because from what I'd seen from Nintendo, like, they were going in on mobile games, but they didn't want to go all in on being like these absolute sellout mobile games that were just sort of trying to pump you for money.
Well,
they had those, they did, but it wasn't like as bad as your stereotypical mobile game.
I think the Mario Kart one was, but the other ones weren't.
Yeah.
It was kind of leading up to it, and then they peaked with the Mario Kart one, and I think
And then
that one
there was a
did
big
the
backlash.
worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there was the Animal Crossing one as well, Pocket Camp or something, which was. I tried that. I tried that, but I think they added more microtransactions to it down the line, and I picked it up at that point where it was less interesting. So I didn't really. I was just pretty disappointed.
I played that like at the start when it first came out, and then I played it about a year ago too, and it definitely has changed as time's gone on. That's okay. That one's fun, and Animal Crossing is one of the few Nintendo games which actually translates quite well to mobile. So it was.
That's why I picked
okay.
it up. I was like, it should work really well on mobile, but it just didn't. I don't know. It didn't grasp my attention. But I've never really enjoyed any mobile game, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's it. At the end of the day, isn't it? None of them have ever really grasped me either. I don't really think we're the audience. Animal Crossing was just okay, but didn't hold a candle to the original games. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually really relieved that they've decided to pull out of the mobile market, because I was concerned for Nintendo with the route that they were going with mobile games, because I think I've mentioned this before, but I've got huge respect for Nintendo because they've stuck to the old-fashioned way of monetizing their games, which I know is entirely because they're a backwards, stubborn Japanese company, but it's actually turned out to be a really good thing for them in this case. But I love that they don't have microtransactions, and alright, their games cost more, but they're always well made. They put time and effort into them. They are always worth that money. Yeah, and when they make DLC, it's always really good DLC. It's always like it's always worth the money. It's always like story content. It's never just microtransactions, and it's never skins. Like they still have their skins be unlockables, like in the PS2 days, and I love that.
Like Nintendo do it. Go on, I'll let you finish.
Sorry, it was just like the point I'm making with all that is that although their home console games are still like that, they were playing with the idea of microtransactions with the mobile market, and they were seeing what they could do with that. And I was concerned that if they started making loads of money off, say, the Mario Kart tour, especially, if that starts making them a lot of money, it would start being put. Yeah, because that's essentially what happened with EA, isn't it?
Slope.
It is definitely, and it's okay in the mobile market, but you can't be Nintendo. You can't be making us pay $50, $60 / pounds, whatever your currency is, on a game, and then expecting us to pay microtransactions on top. But of course, they would do that if they thought they could get away with it, and obviously EA do get away with it already. So it was a real possibility.
It's become a norm over here now in the West.
Definitely.
You know, it sucks, but it's the way it is at the moment. I think Nintendo have always done like stuff really weird. Like they have a lot of bad practices, but they've gotten better about a lot of, like, online stuff. They've gotten a lot better about in recent years. They still do the whole the scarcity thing, where it's like fake scarcity, where it's like with like especially like amiibos and stuff like that. They're always like this limited amount of stock, or they do it. I think they've done it with digital stuff before as well. Or stuff that they can definitely throw out. I don't know about that entirely, but they do stuff where it's just like there's only a limited amount of these things, and send them out. Meanwhile, they've got plenty more that they can release.
Yeah. It's what they do to control the pricing, isn't it? Because nothing ever loses value if it's a Nintendo product, and I think that's one of the reasons why, is because they very carefully control the supply. Yeah, they're a weird company, definitely, and they are getting better. They've made a conscious effort in the last 5 years to bring new blood into the company, haven't they? Because I think they've realised all this stubbornness is because their directors now have all been the same people since the 80s. It's still all the same people at the top that were there in the 80s, and I think that's that. Although that's a good thing in some ways because we still get Miyamoto games and we still got Iwata games until he passed away. But it comes with all the issues as well of having bloody boomers at the top who don't know the new world. And that Fresh Blood's brought us Splatoon 2 and Breath of the Wild, which are two very modern
Amazing
games.
Yeah.
But they're specifically very modern games because Nintendo can make very good games, but they make very good PS2 era games most of the time. But then Splatoon and Breath of the Wild are very modern.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, it's interesting. They've done a lot of good stuff, and then like at the top, they've I don't know, they've like pioneered a lot of like the new like digital conferences and stuff like that. They were sort of the first people to do that, which is weird. You wouldn't expect them of all people to be the ones like, come join us at our digital Nintendo Treehouse. And
that is funny.
It's weird because you'd expect companies over here to have done that first, but I feel like that's going to be more of a trend, especially with current year.
Yes, yeah, true. Yeah.
So we can expect a lot. Yeah.
I think the days of live stages are more or less dead now, for the most part.
We've said this for a while, though, haven't we? Like, E3 slowly less of a business thing and more of a public event, and then it's just become, kind of an event no one cares about.
Yeah. We just needed something to motivate us to make that final push away, and this is that situation now. We've been
because they know they can do it now.
Yeah, and there is no point going back now once we've made that jump. So
I still think we'll see some companies go back, but it's never going to be as big as it was. We'll never get to that point again.
It'll always be there because people are always going to want to go to conventions to play games for the first time, and that's really cool. I don't want that to ever go away. And even though now you could send out beta codes and things like that, it's not the same as going somewhere and experiencing that with a big group of people. But I don't think we're going to be getting big announcements at these events anymore, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'd always love to go to a convention at some point, and so I kind of miss that. It's sad that I missed that era of conventions, but we're still gonna have them.
You should go sometime, man.
Yeah,
we'll go. I don't know. We'll go. We'll get there before games. We'll be like, yeah, it's better than that.
Like, I thought we were going to TwitchCon one year, but TwitchCon has nothing going on for it. It's just like, go hang out with your streamer friends, and go meet your favorite streamers, and it's like, I don't care. I don't care about any of these people.
Lots of people with green quiffs. No, thank you.
It's blue now. I'm pretty sure blue is the go-to.
I hate Twitch. I hate Twitch so much.
The streaming on Twitch. I hate Twitch. Oh.
It's true.
I don't know. I'm not invested in a lot of, like, I actually do like a lot of Twitch streamers now. I've come to, learn about a lot of them and be like, oh, I like a lot of these people. But I also don't know anyone my size that I like or get along with. I don't know. That's probably because it's hard to find people that are interesting.
Yes, and that's it. It's the discoverability thing, isn't it? Oh well. We're small, but adorable.
I'm not adorable. I'm cool.
All right, Mr. Hairy Chest.
Hold on, let me get my aviators on. They'll go with the hairy chest. I'm cool.
Oh. See, all the aviators do is accentuate your pasty face.
Hey. Okay. It's the lighting, okay?
No, it's not. We all know it's not. You've not been outside in forever. That said, actually, I went outside on the weekend for the first time in like 4 months, and I immediately burned. I just burnt like a crisp, like that.
That's your mistake. That's why I don't leave the house. I have to interact with people. The sun touches my skin. There's so many issues with going outside. But
just making excuses now.
Shall we move on?
At TwitchCon.
Yeah, I could be at TwitchCon hanging out with all the Twitch. Hanging out with all the I don't know, people just shouting Twitch Prime over and over. I don't know. They don't
to like, comment, and subscribe to
my
YouTube
channel. They don't even really have games. They don't have like games over there or anything to show off. And
I've
there's
never
like
heard.
never any. So I don't know if there's interesting panels there or anything. I don't know why I had to go. I probably want to go to like I don't know, what have we even got over here? CoxCon. CoxCon's close to us. if it is ever on again.
I think, isn't there a PAX that's in Germany? I think that's the closest that we'd get.
I mean, we've got that one convention. What's that one that Insomnia? I don't know if that's actually got a lot of games on it, though. I think that's more like a hangout thing.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah. We'd have to go to PAX, I think. Sure, there's one in Germany. There's something that happens in Germany. Anyway.
Gamescom, Cologne.
Gamescom.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, we could go do a coverage of it like it's 2012.
Imagine.
Have to be live coverage because it's 2021 now.
Website still says it's happening August 2020. Good luck with that, fella.
No. The 2021 is when it's going to happen.
They've got a countdown. Oh, it's digitally. That's why.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. There you go.
Well, should we move on?
Yeah,
we went massively off track again.
Listen, that's what this podcast is going to be. There's not a lot going on in the news other than the big two that we talked about. But yeah, what we missed last week, I think it actually was announced during the podcast, was Star Wars Squadrons was announced, which is X-Wing v TIE Fighter. It's what everyone's wanted for ages. I don't really care, I'll be honest.
Yay, me neither.
I'm not a super Star Wars fan, even though I did a whole podcast that was longer than the last film on the last film. But that was just because it's fun to make fun of and I can critique it. And I did it with a giant Star Wars nerd who is not here today.
Yeah, if Ziff was here, then this would be his section, and he'd probably killed 30 minutes rambling about it, but we don't give a shit. So that's awkward. We were kind of expecting him to be here tonight.
Yeah. But
I've sorry, go on ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks fun, I'll be honest, from what it is. It's like just a first person, you're in a spaceship, you can blow up a spaceship. It's like, I really enjoyed playing in Battlefronts. I like the spaceships and that. I didn't really play... I've played X-Wing v TIE Fighter like once, maybe. It's not something that was like widely available for people, because you have to actually go and find the game. So it's hard to play, but I've played it like once. I remember going to it, there was a cabinet for it in, I think it might have been the bowling place. You know the one.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, I've never really had an interest in like dogfighting games in general. I mean, it is fun in like Battlefronts. But I don't know. I've never enjoyed it enough to want to pick up an entire game about it.
But imagine that, but in VR. I mean, I actually really like space stuff, and I think that'd be something that would do really good. I think that you could make a really cool space game, but you already know what space game I want. I spoke about it It was probably last podcast. It was one of the podcasts that was like, here's my space MMO idea. Someone make it happen.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, I think I'd care. That's the thing. I do like space combat in the grander scheme of things. Like I do like it in when it's like part of a bigger game. Is what I mean. Like I loved. I've not played any of the new Battlefront games. But when I played the original PlayStation 2 Battlefronts, that Battlefronts 2 had space battles, which were really cool because they did have dogfighting, but the idea was you were trying to get your ship into the other carrier by going around the ship and taking out the shields and then getting inside. And it was all. I mean, it was a process, and I
you didn't even need to take the shields out, did you? You could go inside and destroy the shields from the inside and stuff like that. I liked those elements. Those elements were actually fun. But
yeah, I think that was really good as a part of something bigger. I don't think I'd be interested in a game that was entirely that. Myself, I know a lot of people are, and I think Rogue Squadron is like one of Ziff's favorite games of all time. So
yeah, he definitely he likes the Star Wars. We can say that much.
Yeah, he really likes Star Wars.
But I mean, I like it. Like a little, like if I was to put it on a scale of stuff, it's like I like it, a bit better than Harry Potter, and I don't really care for Harry Potter at all. That's where it stands for me. It's just like
it's just okay, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like it's fine. The movies are okay. I prefer the originals, and I'm like they're good, but you know, and they're just like meh.
Yeah,
They've not really had a lot of good films, have they?
I think that's the problem with Star Wars, really, isn't it? Like,
I think that's why I've
there's
never
been
been that
3 good
invested.
movies, and then the prequels are just funny in like a room kind of way, but they're not good.
Yeah.
And then the new ones are just boring as hell. They're so boring,
Yeah,
and can't destroy all the lore of the original ones too, in a kind of the way the new Halo games do. So,
the new Halo games.
Hmm?
Wait, did you say new Halo games?
Yeah, I said the new Star Wars films destroy the like original canon in similar to how the new Halo games do.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. I was like, I don't remember talking about Halo. I lost track for a moment.
Did I fucking stutter?
But yeah, I don't know. People always say with Star Wars, go watch like the series, like the cartoon series and stuff. There, and be like, these are so much. Or read the books, and it's like, I ain't got time for that. Like, I watched The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian was good. I actually really liked The Mandalorian. I think that's probably my favorite piece of Star Wars media. Weirdly.
Yeah, that I've not seen all of that, but that is good. I quite like that. It's a universe that's got a lot of potential. It's just not always handled well, really.
I mean,
Personally,
that can be said for a
my
lot
opinion.
of universes.
Yeah, that's it.
Unfortunately,
Once they go on this long, it's bound to happen, isn't it?
but
It's been
yeah,
milked to high heaven at this point.
I mean, I think that's all we can really say on that, isn't it? It's the X-wing game
Pretty
everyone
much.
wanted. But well, the last subject of the day, I guess the last news topic. I don't know if there's. I'm sure there was something else that I've forgotten. I was talking to Tef about this during the break, but I just don't remember what. But we have a new Pokemon Snap game. Finally.
Yeah.
It kind of surprised me that they never did this on I tweeted this out, but it surprised me they didn't do this for Wii U, because Wii U was made for that in a way.
Yeah, that's true. With the whole moving
Yeah. You had the camera in your hands at all times. They even made a Fatal Frame game where you used the Wii U as a camera. So I don't know why this was. Maybe this was something that was developed later down the line for the Wii U, and they were just like, you know what, the Wii U is doing terribly. Let's not do this. Let's wait for the Switch, because they knew that was coming out, and we'll develop it for that. Though it has come out pretty late down the lifespan of the Switch, which is why I'm like, it's a bit weird it came out now.
No, I don't think that's
I don't think it was a prior
really think
project.
that's the case.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from. It would make sense, but I don't think it's the case just because of how late it is. I think it's something where they've just decided to quickly whack it out. And what's interesting to me, I don't know if you've noticed, but the development's actually outsourced. It's not being developed by
I noticed
Nintendo.
this.
It's Bandai Namco. That's interesting.
So a lot of people have been saying the models and stuff look better because it's being developed by Bandai instead.
Yeah, they definitely do. That's an interesting thing about it, isn't it? It's not using those models that X and Y and Sword and Shield used. They seem to be new, or they're way more detailed.
I think it's definitely a point that it's going to be an on-rails game, so the game's going to graphically, of course, look better than, a normal Pokemon game. But they've definitely improved the models from what I've seen. Everything looks a lot nicer.
It looks so much nicer than Sword and Shield, but that's not saying much. Sword and Shield was really ugly.
I mean, I'll probably pick it up. I feel like I haven't been invested in Pokemon for a long time, to be honest. That might just be me.
I mean, I want to be. Nintendo makes it difficult for me to be invested in it sometimes. I enjoyed. I got the Pokemon Let's Go, which I did quite enjoy actually. It's just classic Pokemon. It's literally just a remake of the first one in most ways.
Most people got very upset over that. Like, because for some reason they had an expectation that it wasn't gonna be like it was, even though they said that's what the game was gonna be. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah. I honestly quite liked the new catching mechanics. It actually encouraged you to catch them all, because you could now
get shinies
go and catch them, and it was easier to get shinies. You could just catch them and then go straight into your box, because the way normal Pokemon is built, even though even though the tagline has always been "Gotta catch them all," the game's really not designed with that in mind. Like, you can't just go around catching loads of Pokemon, like, because it screws up your party. And realistically, the best way to play Pokemon is to only catch the ones that you want to put in your party, and then you focus on developing them. Because it's a JRPG, and by adding in that the Pokemon Go catching mechanic, now the game encourages you to actually collect the Pokemon. I think that's
Yeah.
I enjoyed it personally. I get why people didn't
I mean,
like it because there's less
it's a fun
battling,
casual
but
experience. You know, you can just sort of
yeah,
sit back and, you know, enjoy some Pokemon. You know, you don't need to focus too hard.
that's it. I thought it was great fun. It was so relaxing because I could just like lie back on the couch, and you only needed one hand to play it. You use one Joy-Con, wasn't it? So I just kind of lie there and just lazily be like, I want a Taurus. I don't know why Taurus was the first Pokemon to come to mind. But yeah, I was just looking at pictures of them actually.
I'm a Taurus.
Hey, don't care. It looks so nice though. Look at these screenshots, man. It looks gorgeous compared to Sword and Shield. I just hope it's got enough content, because I know the original Snap was really short, because not much you can really do with the concept, is there? And knowing Nintendo, this is probably going to be a £50 game, so I hope they've got enough content.
It's it's not it's only like the old generations, isn't it, as well? It's not any of the newer ones.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do with it, but I feel like they've got to do a twist. They've got to have some sort of twist to it, you know. Maybe some people do just want like Pokemon Snap again, but I feel like they should, you know, evolve it. What is the next evolution of Pokemon Snap? Do something a little different on top of it.
I mean, it's Nintendo though; they probably won't do that. And I don't, even if they were planning to do that, I don't think it would make good business sense to do it this time, because right now people would be happy with just a remake of Pokemon Snap. Maybe if they make a second Pokemon Snap, then they can start to add new things. But I imagine it's going to be very similar to the original. Personally,
I think for me, I think if I was wanted, like, I think that's what I'd need to want to really get into it. Like, it's cool that they're making another Pokemon Snap, but I'm also like, I think I'd really want that extra element of, hey, you know, here's some new mechanics as well. Here's like some Pokemon Ranger mechanics in there as well. What was that Pokemon Ranger game?
I really liked Pokemon Ranger. That was really, I thought that was really fun.
I like that, and then there was like Mystery Dungeon as well, which was a ton of fun. They've had some fun Pokemon spin-off games. We're also getting Pokemon Cafe, aren't we? That was another one they announced. I don't remember much about it. It was a Pokemon Cafe. Hold on, I gotta look this up now. It's a mobile game or something, I think. Pokemon Cafe.
Let's see. Cafe Mix. Only supports handheld mode.
Oh, okay, it's not. It's just.
It's gonna be Switch and mobile. It's one of those games.
Yeah.
Like that Pixelmon they made, which was a kind of dungeon crawler type thing.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's like a puzzle game or something.
Link together Pokemon icons to clear puzzles as you work to build up your video cafe. That screams mobile game.
But it's on Switch.
Yeah, but they do that now. Anytime they make a mobile Pokemon game, they put it on the Switch too. So it's not a mobile game.
There's apparently going to be a bigger announcement down the line, by the way, in like the next week or so. There's something bigger that's coming for Pokemon. We don't know what though. Pokemon Colosseum. Or I'd like another Colosseum game.
That or a little another let's play game, or let's go rather.
Yeah, let's go would probably make the most sense, but I'd like a Colosseum game.
I guess it could be a Gen 4 remake actually on the Switch.
Oh yeah.
It seems quite early for that though, because they're still developing expansions for Sword and Shield actually. So it probably will be a spin-off. Well, Colosseum would be pretty cool. Mystery
Dungeon for Switch.
Or it could be that. And no, Mystery Dungeon for the Switch has already been announced. Actually,
they were doing it. It was a remake, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pokemon Ranger for Switch.
It could even.
We could just throw out a long list. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the thing. They've got so many IPs now. Could be loads of things. Who knows? Who knows? But I mean, I like Pokemon.
Yeah.
It doesn't always attract me. Just because Game Freak don't have a clue what they're doing anymore. But
No.
I've got big love for the franchise. I'm always interested to see what they do, and I probably will pick up Pokemon Snap because I love taking pictures in games. So,
Yeah.
if it looks nice enough, then I'll do it just for that. Honestly, exciting. Ooh.
But yeah, that's it for the news for the most part. So, I mean, did you say you had like a topic of some kind? We're actually on the last like 10-13 minutes of the show.
Yeah,
you do have like
I mean,
a small topic.
It was one I kind of had planned for last week, and then we didn't end up needing. God, I can't even remember really what it was now. It was just when I was playing Persona, it was making me think about it, and it came from a comment I seen somewhere, like maybe a tweet someone made or like a comment on Reddit or something like that. But someone
Oh, you're not
pointed
going to be
out
good if it's on
how.
Reddit or Twitter.
I mean, it was surprisingly, I thought, quite insightful. But yeah,
Okay.
it's quite rare. Well, I mean, it's probably absolute bullshit, to be honest. But I mean, it still made me stop and think. But it's just I wanted to kind of talk about what you thought about JRPGs and how now they're kind of split, and there's two types of JRPGs, where some are sticking to the old school turn-based style, and you got the likes of Persona, and there are other ones. I mean, Pokemon is one, I guess. It's still turn-based,
Hmm.
and they're still selling really, really well. And even though they're kind of old-fashioned, I guess Yakuza 7 as well now is, when that comes to the West,
That's a
that's a turn-based
JRPG.
RPG.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like, but then you've got that other style where JRPGs are getting more and more action-based, and they're getting more Western-inspired, and they're bringing in Western RPG elements like more party banter and more side quests and more of an open world, like you get in Final Fantasy for Xenoblade. Is it called? Yeah, Xenoblade.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah, like
Bravely Default was one that Square Enix brought out, which was very interesting. Oh, we lost Tef again. Tef is frozen on a very lovely face. Oh. Yeah, that's... I think we've just lost Tef. So make sure...
yeah, that's fair.
Oh, there we go. Kaz,
On my
can
own
you see the image
cast.
of yourself?
Thank God for that. Oh,
I was to say, someone take a screenshot and make a meme out of that.
don't encourage them. For fuck's sake. Remember when I was bright-eyed, brand new to Twitch, and I was like, "Hey guys, hey, you should do this funny thing," and you were like, "For the love of God, Tef, don't encourage them." And other tables have turned because I've seen what they can do to you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a bitter man now. Been here like
That's
3
what
months.
happens. I've been here. I've been here 3 years. Okay. I know how it feels. I said Bravely Default. We were talking about
Yes.
and yeah. And you were about to say something, but then you were like,
No, I was
you had a face.
that's actually just reminded me of what game I was thinking of. Because Bravely Default and like Octopath, which is the
Octopath
same
Traveler,
developer.
yeah.
I mean, but that's, I don't know whether I'd count them because they are a intentional homage to old school JRPGs. So of course they're
It's
going to be
been cool to
turn-based.
see that though.
Yeah, it has definitely. But you've got like Dragon Quest as well, where I know Dragon Quest at this point kind of is a homage to itself because it's intentionally old school now on purpose.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's still a game that was, Dragon Quest was kind of pushing the series forward in some ways. It did feel more modern, and it had like gorgeous graphics and really cool 3D world design. And it was only the second 3D Dragon Quest, wasn't it? But at the same time, it had such an old-fashioned turn-based style, and it still sold really well. And it seems like the ones that stick to turn-based actually, a lot of the time, seem to do better. Obviously, there are some exceptions.
The Final Fantasy is probably an exception to that, I imagine. Like the latest Final Fantasy games. Like
but 15 was not praised for its combat system, was it? Because its combat system is dreadful. You just button mash. Like, it's really easy to cheese.
Yeah, 7's kind of improved upon it, from what I understand. But I don't know how 7 plays. I've not given it a go. So you can probably speak more on that because you played the demo at least.
Fair, yeah, I mean, in the demo, it did seem to strike the right balance, but it did that by bringing back some of the turn-based elements, because it brought back it brought back what 12 had, where you could pause time to open the typical JRPG menu and select your attack or use an item, which 15 didn't have.
Could you
The
not
only
do that
time
in 15?
we've already had this conversation, I think, in the
Did
last
we?
one. Time froze when you went into the items list, but time didn't freeze for you to pick a spell or cast anything or any stuff like that. It was just for scrolling through your long item list
You know,
because
we
in Final
did have a discussion about this
yeah,
because they have like a turn-based mode, don't they? Also, and there's a setting you can switch. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. There is. Yeah. It's I think time freezes entirely. Oh no, it's basically that the classic mode makes it into Final Fantasy 12, where if you're in the classic mode, you don't control the characters moving and attacking. You only control their special abilities and their spells, and they'll move and attack on their own. But in the standard game, you still have to control their movements and their dodging and their like sword swings or gun firing or whatever. But then you also have to pause and select spells.
To be fair, Secret of Mana
was
is
better.
one we could talk about because Secret of Mana had that and that was that was around the same time. That was more of a it had more of an action combat, didn't it? In comparison to normal JRPGs, they actually had a new Secret of Mana come out soon.
Early on.
Isn't a new Secret of Mana come out recently? Am I wrong in that? I mean, it doesn't look great, I'll be honest, but I'm pretty sure they brought out new Secret of Mana.
Yeah, I think there is a Mana game on Switch. You're right. I don't really follow that series. Honestly, I've never really played any of them properly. Even Secret of Mana, I've never really gotten around to it.
Trials of Mana is what I'm thinking of.
Trials of Mana. Okay. That is a remake of a game from 1995, apparently.
Is it?
Don't know if it ever came to the West before.
Hold on, am I actually thinking of the right game here?
No, yeah, you are.
Yeah,
it came to the Switch in June 2019, but it originally came out in 1995, but it never came to the West.
Yeah.
This is its first Western release. That's cool. Good to know.
It looks. It didn't.
I mean, you're right there.
It didn't look great, but it is like that was a series that sort of did that while other games were doing turn-based. So I guess that's where the path sort of deviated originally. If we go all the way back.
Yeah, I guess so. And it makes sense that they would have wanted to move towards action because turn-based only ever existed anyway because of limitations in hardware. But I think personally, I think it kind of takes away from what I like the most about the RPG combat. I like that it's turn-based and strategic. Like I like taking the time in like Persona or Pokemon or Final Fantasy X, for example. I like taking that time to step back and think, what's the best move here? Because you have all these different abilities, and if you'll stop and pause and think about it, and then you find the right strategy and you pull it off, and it feels really satisfying. And you can't have that same feeling in standard combat because you need to think too quickly. And you're always reacting rather than strategizing, or at least I am, because I can't think that quickly. I certainly can't strategize that quickly.
I think I can, because I mean, I've played a lot of games that require stuff like that. There's like, I mean, the Dark Souls games, I guess, is sort of an example of like how they have different ability, but it's like, it's a vague comparison, but you get what I mean. Like you have to think fast in those games, and then the Secret of Mana games, I guess in Secret of Mana you also had multiplayer, didn't you? You could kind of cooperatively play, if I recall. In Secret of Mana,
could you? Is that a thing?
Secret of Mana co-op. I'm pretty sure.
No, honestly, I just don't know enough. I'm gonna have to take your word for it.
But I'm pretty sure it was like. Yeah, so there is multiplayer in Secret of Mana, and that's, I guess, what a lot of it was based on, because you had your different characters that you could all switch between, and you could have people controlling different characters, so you could all play together, and I think that was a big part of, like, the action combat that it had. So, I don't know, it is an interesting thought. Though, I mean, we both love JRPGs. JRPGs are good. We should probably play Secret of Mana or something. But I want to play so many. I want to play so many JRPGs, but it's like so long. Is the issue?
That's the problem, isn't it? I think a Chrono Trigger we might be able to get away with because that's quite short. But any other ones,
it's still pretty long for a JRPG. I mean, because JRPGs are just long. Hmm. I mean, you can't
Sad.
beat. We could beat Chrono Trigger pretty quickly though. If we wanted to shorten the story a bit.
I mean, if we're feeling badass, can't say I've ever beaten Lava Certainly, honestly. But
I mean, we could give it a go. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if we were able to do a JRPG, I think it would have to be like it'd have to be like a 24-hour stream or something, like a stream where we don't stop. Also, we'd have to like be in the same room and do it together, 24 hours or something. Do a charity stream while we play a JRPG. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
We should do that. Like a podcast, that podcast that I love, that Final Fantasy podcast, which is like so small and deserves more attention because they're so funny. But like it's a podcast for everyone who doesn't know. I don't think I've mentioned this on stream before. It's a podcast where these guys just play every Final Fantasy, like they're working their way through every Final Fantasy game, and obviously as they go on, they get longer. The NES game wasn't all that long, but I think I'm listening to the one where they're playing Final Fantasy VII, which I think is probably one of the longest ones, and they hired a cabin, like out in like a holiday cabin out in the woods,
Yeah, that
and they
sounds
went
like
out
so much
there and they're
fun.
like. Yeah, like they just played it for the whole week straight, and they got halfway through disc 2. They weren't even close to finishing it. Like they had to go home, and now they still like finishing at home. But yeah, it's great fun for those guys, obviously, and it's so funny. It's called No One Can Know About This, the podcast, and if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, go listen to them. They're so
But listen
funny,
to
and
us first.
they need more attention. But yeah, obviously listen to us first, or at the very least, lurk on our Twitch stream while you listen to them. You know, be cool about it.
But yeah, I don't know. It's something we can consider in the future, like way in the future.
It would be cool.
When we can,
be cool.
When we can leave the houses.
Imagine that.
One year. But yeah, I think that's about it for your topic, right, and the podcast in general. We good? Anything more you want to say?
No, I'm surprised we stretched that out as far as we did, honestly.
Yeah, we did stretch that quite a bit. So
that topic didn't really have much of a point to it. So
no, I mean the topics don't have to have a point, just something interesting to discuss.
Just want to ramble.
I mean, that's what this is for, just for us to just ramble on everything going on in the gaming industry. But yeah,
suits me fine.
So let's wrap it on up then. So Tef, where can they find you? What do you do? Let us know.
I'm currently just ranting about The Last of Us to varying degrees on Twitter as much as I can, because I'm trying not to get spoiled because I've not finished it yet. But I'm on Twitter as always. I am Tefers.
There you go.
Go and follow me if you don't already. I'm just narky like I am here. I just basically whine and whinge and cry and reply to everything that Zan says with something sarcastic. That helps
like a real
too.
Gamer. All real gamers reply with something snarky to my tweets over at Zan Games on Twitter.
Oh, nicely done.
Oh, you like that?
Speaking of, whack socials in for my boy. You can follow him on the TikToks.
Before I do plug my socials, are you writing any in Tef? Got any fun coming up? Anything you can tease? Out of curiosity.
I mean, I've got like one that's half written, but like, man, I've got no time because I just want to play Last of Us all the time. I'm so bad. I can't control myself. I just need to play games all the time.
I get it. I understand.
I am working on one thing. And if you've been enjoying our Yakuza rants or my Yakuza rants, then you'll enjoy it. That's all I'm gonna say. It's about Yakuza. Yakuza's good. Go play Yakuza. Everyone should play Yakuza.
A lot of I want to play Yakuza.
Like, I'm literally like, I think probably about an hour from the end of Yakuza 6, and then I've played all of them. But then The Last of Us came out, and it got sidelined.
Poor Yakuza. Poor Yakuza. How could you do this?
I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. I gave it attention for like 9 months straight. It'll survive for a week or two.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm assuming you all know me, but if you don't, Zanrise on Twitch, Zanrise on YouTube, Zan Games on Twitter, The Real Zanrise on Instagram, and that's about it. We don't talk about TikTok, but I'm Zanrise on there as well. So, but yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for joining me, Tef, once again. And,
thank you very much.
We'll pretend as if it's all here in spirit. They're really not. But yeah. 6 episodes. We've done 6 whole episodes of this now. How do you feel? When do you think we'll get cancelled? What episode do you think we'll get cancelled on?
I think we can make it to double figures before we get cancelled. I think to celebrate our 10th episode, I'll just start dropping the M-bomb here and there, you know.
Oh, yeah, we might move that one over to Mixer before we do that.
Neil Druckmann! Ah! He said it! No! No!
Neil Druckmann, everyone, just people start banning.
Everyone's bursts into flames. Oh man, that man has been just everywhere on Twitter at the minute. We will talk more about The Last of Us 2 next week. So, definitely
join us for that one. But yeah, before Tef says anything else that'll get me cancelled, let's finish the podcast. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on Thursday when we're doing Jack.
Boy.
Who knows? We don't know if we'll finish the game. We'll get pretty far in though, so look forward to that. Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll catch you next time. Bonsoir.